Hello friends, this is Worm, and we have just got a ton of articles dumped on us not too terribly long ago. I saw them earlier, but I was a little bit busy. And I figured we would go over them and talk about them together. So I haven't really looked into much detail in all of these. I've seen kind of some of the what is it, infographics and stuff here. But yeah, with that being said, we're going to talk about the future of Destiny 2, and it's, I don't know, I'm hoping for some good stuff based on what I've seen on this little dude right here, which we'll talk about in just a second. I think that it's going to be pretty good. But with that being said, let's go ahead and read what Bungie has to say here. Paving the way for new frontiers. Today marks the 10-year anniversary of Destiny. We set out in 2014 to do something new and different for our studio. We've conquered the Witness, looted dungeons, ascended to the Lighthouse, and more. Now we look to the future. We're plotting our course to the stars through codename Frontier. We closed the door with the final shape, but we are opening a new one, a weird one, an exciting one that takes Destiny to places it has never been before. We're building this new future now, we're building this future now and are excited to share with you a first glimpse of it today. So based on reading this right here, like just this intro paragraph alone, it sounds to me like we are going outside of where we've been. Okay, it says we're plotting our course through the stars. Bungie is known for in things like TWABs and stuff like that and blah blah blahs. Like they're known for talking about things and using words very particularly, and the fact that they use the words here, plotting our course through the stars, makes me think that we're going to be going beyond the solar system, which I think is really cool. I'm not sure how they could do it, but that's really awesome. They also mentioned that it's a new door, it's a weird one, and an exciting one. Now the thing I want to focus on here is weird one. What do they mean by weird? Like what weird new door are we opening? I don't know, but then we have this infographic here. Let me actually pull it up full screen. So codename Frontiers, we have summer of 2025, winter of 2025. Of course, the final shape dropped in summer of 2024. So looks like everything that Bungie has said is upcoming over next year, that with the episodes and stuff still going to happen, right? They're not changing episodes. We're in episode 1. Episode 2 is going to happen in just a couple weeks. Then we'll have episode 3. Then it looks like we're going to be going into this new expansion. And importantly, notice there are 2 expansions in a year. Okay, we've got a summer expansion and we have a winter expansion. And this is huge because Destiny has historically been a one expansion a year kind of thing. I think actually the last time that Bungie had like a multiple expansions in a year was back in D1, original D1. We got the House of Wolves and we got the Dark Below, not in that order, but we got both of those, plus of course the base game. So the fact that we're kind of reverting back to that is really exciting. I'm also seeing right here, we have summer 2025, fall 2025 major updates, and then some reward passes here. It looks like after the episodes, we're going to be going back to our traditional, I don't want to say seasonal content because it's not ever referred to as seasonal content, but it's going to be similar to seasons. So instead of having a 4-month long season, we'll go back to having 3-month long seasons. We'll get 4 of them in a year. I think that's all good. Now, when I look at these, okay, the expansion stuff here, the things that are going to be coming with these 2, with codename Apollo and codename Behemoth, new stories, new locations, new missions, new weapons, new gear, new raids, and dungeons. This is so, like, this infographic is so exciting, guys, because obviously like we get new story every time there is a seasonal update. So the new story, like that's pretty cool. But it's what we come to expect. But where it gets interesting is new locations, and the new locations, like they're explicitly saying it's new locations, not returning locations, not reprise locations. Like they're detailing new locations. Where on earth could we possibly be going that's new? I don't know. We referred earlier in the article to the, we're going out into the stars or whatever. Perhaps we're going to some other worlds, like outside of our solar system. I don't really know, but new locations, always a good thing. Also, of course, we're getting new missions. I would assume this is a new set of potentially like exotic missions when it refers to that. New weapons, new gear. I'm not surprised on any of that. But then, and this is the big one, we have new raids and dungeons. Now, notice it says new, first of all, but also it pluralizes both of these. Okay, so new raids, new dungeons. Now, I don't know if this is just like to get players hype or if this is detailing that new, like these expansions will have multiple raids coming during this expansion time frame, similar to, you know, like we get I don't know, like Salvation's Edge, then maybe we get like a reprise of Wrath of the Machine or something like that. Like I don't know exactly what's going on here, and I don't know if it's gonna be one you know, one raid per first expansion, sorry, and then the second expansion is going to give us a new dungeon, kind of like we've had in the past, where it's like, okay, you get a raid, the next season you get a dungeon, the next season you get a reprise raid. I'm not sure, but they do detail here that it is new, and notice down here on the seasonal update, it does say reprise, so they are aware that reprise stuff. So when they say new dungeons, new raids, this means stuff we've never seen before, and this is super, super exciting. Now, like I said, one of the big things I want to know, are we going to be getting a raid with each of these, or is it going to be a raid and a raid and a dungeon, raid and dungeon, or is it going to be raid for Apollo, then a dungeon for Behemoth? I don't really know, but at the same time, like it's exciting to see new raids and new dungeons. Moving on, though, we also have the seasonal update. Of course, when we get the seasonal update, that's coming 4 times a year: summer 2025, fall, winter, and spring 2026. You know, pretty standard stuff here. New and reprised activities, so they're going to be bringing some new stuff, going to be having some old stuff come back. I've, again, never been opposed to old stuff coming back to Destiny, as long as there is enough new stuff to sprinkled in to make it feel like we're not just playing old content. New gear and artifact mods, no surprise there. New modifiers and challenges. The new modifiers is really interesting. I don't know when the last time we saw a new set of modifiers was, so that's pretty cool. New sandbox meta, no surprise there. And new events. This is somewhat interesting. New events. I'm not sure what events they could be referring to. Of course, Guardian games, Solstice, you know, the Halloween and wintertime events, like all that stuff I would assume are returning. But when they say new events, could we see another Blessing of the Blades events like we've had this past week, which has been incredibly fun? I don't know, but I really hope that we see more of those. And then of course we have the rewards pass. And this is something I want to point out here. Notice they do not call it a season pass. They call it a rewards pass. Remember, we're done with the seasonal model. We're going into episodes for the next year. Then we're going into this rewards pass. However, for all intents and purposes, rewards pass is basically a season pass. It comes with an exotic weapon and ornament, legendary weapon and armor ornaments, gear upgrade, resources, cosmetics, and more. One of the things I want to know is, are these going to be free to all players, or is there going to be like a free and a paid version? But yeah, that's the infographic here. Great stuff. Let's keep going here. This roadmap lays out our plan for year 11 and beyond with some exciting changes to our annual model. 2 expansions per year, 4 major updates of free content every year. Again, right here it says free content, but is that rewards pass actually going to be free, like for everybody, or is it going to have a free and a paid version? I guess we'll have to see once that comes up. Over the next few months, we'll be sharing more info with you on Codename Frontiers, which is how we are describing major innovations coming to Destiny 2 over the next few years, starting with our next expansion, Codename Apollo. We have several dev insight deep dives going live today, and we'll continue to add more to this list over the weeks and months to come. Today, we also have Tyson Green, the game director for Destiny 2, and Allison Lurs, the Destiny 2 narrative director, diving through some of our future plans for Destiny 2. Our goal is to be more transparent in our communication with you. This means sharing our work more frequently, even if you see our mistakes and false starts along the way. So please remember that our roadmap and plans are subject to change as we get deeper into development. This is basically their little mini text, right? Just saying that this could change. Like we might not get this, you know, Codename Apollo till fall of next year or something like that. But anyways, ultimately, this is your game too. We want you to see more of how it's made and why. Sorry guys, I suck at reading. When you take away, if you take away nothing else, it should be this: we're excited for Destiny 2 to change and improve in ways that allow it to keep evolving in the future. So again, this whole intro here, this is Bungie's way of comforting us and saying that Destiny 2 is not dead. It's not going away. Okay, yes, with the final shape, that was a huge conclusion, and players have really dropped off. And for the next couple months, I think that it's going to be a similar situation. We're going to have a huge influx, like we always do with seasons starting. So when episode 2 starts, big influx of players, and then as it goes on, it's going to drop off. But this is basically that they're saying that they're going to change a lot of fundamentals. So dev insight deep dives. Below you'll find a list of dev insight deep dives for various innovations coming with Codename Frontiers. We'll be building upon this section over the next few months with breakdowns of features and changes coming to Destiny 2. We'll read those in a minute. Our vision for the future of Destiny 2. Tyson Green. So this is the first time I think we've ever actually heard from Tyson. He says, "My name is Tyson. I'm the game director for Destiny 2. I'm excited to speak today about our team's vision for Destiny. First and foremost, we all still love Destiny. It is a unique and challenging game, both for you and for us. I've personally been working on Destiny for 15 years, and it still excites me creatively. There are not many games I could say that about." Yeah, Tyson, again, we talked about him whenever he was first revealed. Great person to be a forerunner for Destiny 2, especially he's been working on it since like the early days of development back in 2009, which is fantastic. But at the same time, we recognize that it has become too rigid. Expansions have started to feel too formulaic and are over too quickly with little replay value. Seasons and episodes keep getting bigger, but can still feel like you were just going through the motions. We believe it's time for Destiny to change and evolve, and that our community wants this game to grow and innovate too. And to do that, we need to start breaking some of the molds. Yeah, so guys, one of the biggest things with the expansions, and especially with not Lightfall, the Final Shape, we saw it. Once you play that expansion and you do that stuff, and you beat the game, so to speak, there's not really anything else to do after that. Like, yes, you can go in and you can, grind for armor and weapons. You can do the seasonal kind of stuff, but so many players on social media were saying that they just were done with Destiny. Like they saw it through its conclusion. They saw the end of the saga and they were done with it. And so, yeah, like the expansions that come out year over year, like they get too tedious, I guess. In fact, when it comes to the Final Shape, I still have not completed the entire campaign on my Hunter. Why? Because I don't want to go in and play the campaign again. Like, I know what's going to happen. I know what to expect. It's not fun or entertaining to play it a second and third time. So hopefully one of the changes we'll see going into the future will be a change to maybe something like that, so that we don't have to play on all three characters every single time. Annual expansions. So we're going to start with annual expansions. We love creating annual expansions and are especially proud of the Final Shape. But the truth is that they dominate almost all of our development effort. We need to free ourselves up to explore and innovate with how we deliver Destiny 2 content so we can invest in areas of the game that will feel more impactful to players. Starting next year, instead of one big expansion, we're going to deliver 2 medium-sized expansions, one every 6 months. Each of these will depart from the one-shot campaign structure we've been using essentially unchanged since Shadowkeep, and each will be an opportunity to explore exciting new formats instead. We are excited to try new things that challenge your idea of what a Destiny experience can be. We are actively prototyping non-linear campaigns, exploration experiences similar to the Dreaming City or Metroidvanias, and even more unusual formats like roguelikes or survival shooters. Each expansion will present a new opportunity to try something different. Departing from one-shot campaigns doesn't mean we're turning away from great storytelling. Going forward, we want to return the mystery and wonder that was woven into the fabric of early Destiny when the story felt ripe with possibilities and an epic sense of exploration and discovery. Great stories are as important as ever in our creative vision, and Allison will touch more on that below. There we go. I was actually going to make a video later this week detailing one of the things that we had in Destiny 1 that was lacking in Destiny 2, which is the mystery. And he basically, Tyson here just addressed that, which is super exciting. So I guess that one's out. I'll have to find something else to talk about instead. But yeah, so basically, instead of having a big expansion, we're gonna get 2 medium-sized ones. What I'm wondering is, whenever it says medium-sized expansions, like what does that mean? Like, are we still getting a new location? Because when I think of an expansion, when I think of Lightfall, Final Shape, something like that, I'm thinking we get a new location, a new storyline, a couple of new strikes, maybe just a new strike or two. We get a new set of weapons and armors that are associated with said location, and I think that's about really it in terms of the stuff I can think of for the for an expansion. So I'm not sure how they could really downsize that at all. Maybe they'd probably take out like the unique weapons and armor for said locations, although that would kind of be a bummer, but it doesn't matter. So very interesting. So but they're going to 2 a year, which I think is going to keep the game feeling a lot more refreshing. That's, again, one of the things that gets stale is, yeah, we have seasonal content or episode content, but those really don't change the way the game is played. Having a new location added to the game is going to change the way the game is played. Having, more strikes and stuff introduced to the game, like that's going to change how the game is played. And of course, they go into detail here that they want to move away from just that one-shot story. They want to go into where they say non-linear campaigns. So campaigns that, it's not just like you do this mission, then you do this mission. It's campaigns that branch out multiple directions. Your decisions that you make in one mission could affect how you are playing or how you're doing another mission. They're wanting to have more exploration, which is really exciting, and then they're talking about roguelikes and survival shooters. Like, they want to do something different with every single expansion. Again, this is to keep the game feeling fresh. I think this is a tremendously great opportunity for Bungie right here, because what they're talking about is basically changing how the game feels every 6 months without losing its core, what Destiny is. So that's pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and move on to seasons here. With the change to 2 expansions per year, our seasonal model will be changed as well. Instead of 3 episodes, we will be building 4 major updates per year, one every 3 months. Again, that's the seasonal. This is going back to basically the seasonal model. Each expansion will launch alongside a major update at the start of the season, and then a second major update will follow 3 months later to refresh the core game with new and reprised content, including for activities, strikes, exotic missions, or entirely new modes like Onslaught, rewards such as armor, weapons, artifact mods, exotics, and more, new weekly events, new features, combat meta and balance updates. So okay, I'll be honest, they're putting a really pretty coat of paint on this. This is basically the seasonal model. Okay, they're updating, they're giving us more weapons, exotics, armors. Like, we get these with every season. About the only thing we don't get with every season is a complete new mode, such as Onslaught. Onslaught came with Into the Light. It's still in the game. It's still a very fun game mode. So that's pretty cool. But really, based on what I've read so far, seasons are they're going to be like seasons where prior to the final shape. The big seasonal resets will still happen, but now twice a year alongside the expansions. Each update will be a substantial refresh of the core game, bringing new activities and reward content. We are also excited to announce that, like Destiny 2 Into the Light, these updates and their content will be free to all players. We want Destiny to be easier for anyone to play or recommend, so we want to remove the major barrier to the experience, which means we need to talk about the core game itself. Okay, so they bring up the free to play. It has been said a million times across a million different YouTube channels. Is it going to truly be free to play, or is it going to be free to try? Okay, that's the big question I have here. We'll need more details on what's free. The rewards pass, is that all free, or is it only free to a certain, is it only the lame stuff, I guess, free? I don't know, but let's go ahead and move on to core game. The core game is Destiny's always available evergreen activity experience. We need it, and we need to fix 2 key things with it. First one, approachability. First, Destiny 2 is too complex. With literally hundreds of activities, you practically need a PhD to decide what to play and how to get rewards you're looking for. That makes me feel really smart. We're going to start to fix this by modernizing our activity UI, the director, to make it easier for everyone to find and launch into great activities. And we're reworking our reward model to make sure that all of these activities offer meaningful rewards. Our deep dives on activities and rewards go into more detail on these changes in particular. Okay, so making it easier for players who are just getting into Destiny to understand what's going on. That's a big deal, because even as a veteran player, sometimes I log on and I'm like, what do I want to do? There's so much to do. There's so much you're met with on the director, and so I like that change. I think that's going to be good, and I think it's especially going to be good for newer players or players who haven't played in a really long time and are just returning to the game. The next one is gear and challenge should matter. Even great activities stop mattering if the challenge dries up and the rewards aren't worth it. Yes. So we're investing in a greatly improved challenge customization system to let players of any skill range find the right challenge level for them, with rewards that improve based on the challenge level you take on. These won't just be simple incoming damage increases either. Just talked about this. The team is cooking up some great gameplay modifiers that give enemies some exciting tools to mix things up on every run. We will have a deep dive coming soon to show off some of these new threats. I'm gonna say it right now. I have a feeling that more enemies are gonna be having subclass verbs, scorch, suppression, jolt. Like more enemies are gonna be applying those, so that's pretty cool. As for the rewards, there will be higher tiers of the legendary gear. Think adept weapons and artifice armor that will be available from these higher challenge ranges in a much wider variety of activities across both PvE and PvP. These two changes will help the core game experience be easier to drop into and much deeper in terms of variety and pursuit of personal mastery. And they are a starting point for ongoing changes aimed to continuing to improve Destiny in these regards. So that is really awesome. So first of all, like she mentions here, adept weapons and artifice armor are going to be even more widely available. This is something that has formerly been exclusive to going flawless, right? Like that was the only way you get adept weapons. Then they moved into the master dungeon for artifice armor. Then they start doing grand nightfalls, master raids, stuff like that. So you can get more adept weapons, but it sounds to me like what they're essentially going to be doing is they're going to be adding difficulty tiers to basically all activities. So if you wanted to do, say a seasonal activity, say, breach executable this season, you could set it to like maybe a grandmaster mode and potentially get adept weapons or artifice armor for doing that. I think that's pretty awesome. The next multi-year saga starts with codename Apollo. Allison Lurs. Hello, I'm Allison, and I'm the D2 narrative director. I'm a fresh face at Bungie. I started doing narrative direction for seasons in fall of 2022, and my first D2 expansion was The Final Shape. Excellent job, Allison. We are proud of the final shape and the ending we created for the Light and Darkness saga, and we know that the episodes that follow would act as an epilogue, tying up Light's and Dark's hanging threads, but also setting us up for what's next. The episodes close doors and open new ones, purposeful ones, storylines that are set in place to prepare us for what comes next. And what is our new saga? We're about to find out, maybe. That looks like some pretty cool artwork. No idea what it is. Yeah, looks pretty neat. You'll see teasers of it. Oh, I guess we're not going to learn right now. You'll see teasers of it in the later 2 episodes, and then fully kick off with codename Apollo. This next saga is also based around a core theme, much like Light and Darkness did. It will introduce plenty of new characters, factions, twists, and more. There's a lot here we will say eventually, but we don't want to spoil the journey for you. This will be a multi-year journey, one we can't wait to take you on. Our first expansion, codename Apollo, is a non-linear, character-driven adventure. That's pretty cool. This is so again, this is basically just confirming that Destiny has a plan to go on. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom, and we've talked about some doom and gloom here on the channel as well, but this is very very exciting, because this is saying that, hey, we are continuing to work on Destiny 2. We've got a plan for the future. It's not going to end up like Halo, where it just kind of floats off into nothing while we move on to Marathon. This is them saying, like, we acknowledge that Destiny 2 is the game that Bungie made, and we want to continue with it. So that's exciting. Of course, what do we mean by codename Apollo is nonlinear? Previously, in stories like The Final Shape, you experience the story as A to B to C to D in a nice straight line. In codename Apollo, our story takes place over dozens of threads you'll explore and discover. So, when you land on our brand new location, exciting, the story starts at A, and then you can choose if you want to explore C first, or try and get into B, or maybe investigate D. And because and the options you didn't choose, don't worry. Those other options are still open for you to go back and play through. You'll need to, because the more you play and discover, the more the story progresses, and experiencing a certain number of threads opens up the next part of the story. The order in which you explore will be something you choose, but we have built codename Apollo in a way the story always makes sense and flows from beginning to middle to end. There's no time gating, no waiting for the next drop. Codename Apollo story unfolds based on player progression. So this is also really nice. This is basically Bungie saying that they're moving away from time gates in storylines, and they're allowing players to pick their own route to go. One of the big things I'm curious about is this going to be taking like the final shape and just taking all the missions and just allowing you to pick which one you do next? Like, are they actually going to have storylines that affect other storylines? If I go from A to B to C, will I have a different outcome than if I go A to C to B, right? Like, I'm not really sure, like, you know, and I kind of hope, I mean, I really hope it's that way, because yeah, like, it's cool to be able to mix up and play the storyline your own personal way, but at the same time, if it's still the same missions, whether you do them in one order or another, it's gonna kind of feel boring. Let's continue. Destiny is at its best when it's mysterious, weird, and not afraid to try new things. Yes, that sounds like D1 in a nutshell. This shift to non-linear stories isn't something we're locking ourselves into, but it is the structure that fits Codename Apollo best. The narrative structure of the releases that follow will be quite different, a structure to suit that game's experience. And we want to continue to innovate with each expansion across both gameplay and narrative. Really interesting thing. She says that game, like that game's experience, like it's almost like they're talking about Codename Apollo as being like basically a totally different Destiny game, which again, that kind of gets me giddy and excited because like Destiny is kind of stale. So yeah, that's super cool. Into the unknown. This all sounds like a big change, and it is, because when the rhythm of our story becomes predictable, or when characters and our world fail to change, that's how we create a situation, not a story. So how can we innovate? By telling a story that keeps up with our innovation, not one that slows it down. That means an evolving world, giving space for new characters, growing and evolving factions, making sure the story we tell is in a world we have nurtured, and with characters who grow in turn. We believe in rewarding the player for paying attention without punishing someone for not knowing something. That way, everyone gets to come along for the ride, no matter how deep in the lore they are. You'll see the approach starting with episodes and continuing into the new multi-year story. So when we think about a multi-year arc, what does it look like? Think of it as a constellation of stories united by a single theme. We will show you what that theme is later, but suffice to say, we believe in it. We think that this multi-year arc as a web, not a line. Each release fits into the larger saga. We can't wait to take you on that journey. Story is easy to spoil, so I won't ruin the details for what the theme in Codename Apollo is or what it's about, but I will give you something to look forward to. Apollo ends with the narrative gasoline that will propel us into the next few years, with a clear theme, goal, and a destination that won't come at you as a straight line, but will be well worth the trip. It'll reward you, it'll surprise you, and it'll take us places Destiny has never seen before. Again, take us places Destiny has seen before. Is this a play on new locations? Probably, but also I think that it really sounds like they're trying to completely rebuild Destiny. Like, they're taking the theme that Destiny has, you know, the space exploration, space cowboy, space warlock, space ranger, stuff like that, but they're totally mixing it up, which is really exciting. And with that, we come to a close. Well, a new beginning, really. Over the next few months, we'll be dishing out more deep dives and engaging in more conversation. We have no doubts the above breakdown of Codename Frontiers plans will spawn far more questions that we can answer, but we'll be looking to keep you up to date as we take flight. Keep an eye on the deep dive sections, as we'll be adding links to further topics. Thank you again for joining us on the first 10-year journey in Destiny. We've been through so much, battling the darkness and stopping the witness. Now it's time to look to the stars again. It's time to imagine, to dream big, and explore what our futures can be within this universe. We have our heading and hope to see you join us along the way. Signed, the Destiny 2 dev team. Also, there's a mention down here for all mentions of free content. Some content on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 requires an active PlayStation Plus subscription to access. So yeah, so not like free if you play PlayStation, because I think PlayStation Plus costs pretty penny. But anyways, this is all really, really good stuff. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on here. The key takeaways, of course, Destiny's moving into a brand new direction. You know, they're trying to they're trying to totally shake up the game without just making a new game. And I got to give them props for doing that. It makes me wonder, though, when they have Codename Apollo drop, like, how's it going to feel with this whole new system compared to the older systems? Like, I mean, you know, like, obviously it's going to be something new, but even like when you're comparing it, like if I'm in the director loading in, I'm like, okay, I want to go do on this whatever saga, this new saga, like, you know, what is it going to look like in contrast to the old one? But yeah, there's so much going on. This does get me very, very excited for Destiny's future. So yeah, I mean, I think that we're not gonna cover the all the different developer insights in this video. I'll probably just have a separate video covering those. But yeah, this has just been very exciting. It's so good to know that Bungie has not quit on Destiny. They don't plan on letting it just kind of slowly die out and focusing on Marathon. Like, they have a whole thing going on that they're planning for the future. So that's pretty good. So anybody who's saying Destiny 2 is dead, you can go kiss my booty. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. Hope y'all liked the video. Tell me in the comments what you think about all this new stuff, because wow, that's a lot. I love it. And yeah, drop a like, helps the channel a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, conversations, debates, discussions, all that good stuff. And watch the videos you see on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you like them. I'll see you all next time, guys. Bye for now.